Hello everybody, welcome to my weird wonderful world. This video here I wanted to do just a bit of a different thing for you. Give music a tiny break, but pretty much all week here I'll be giving much more music content. I got things to listen to, some reviews to do, maybe some rankings to do. That's all coming up soon. But I want to go through some legal matters of Canada that you may not be aware of. Not necessarily saying that. Well, the first eight are pretty much against the law. I have 10 points here. The last two are kind of cool little legal things that you might want to know if you ever live in Canada and you don't know any of these. You know, I like to look into the law a little bit here because I have a I have my pocket constitution of Canada, which I have studied. I keep it in plastic because I want to make sure it stays in good condition. I'm going to try not to make this video too long, no longer than like 10 to 12 minutes tops if I can. Now, a bonus little tidbit about something that's illegal in Canada that you're not allowed to do, but people do it anyway and nobody ever really enforces it. But if a cop sees it in your car, if he pulls you over and he sees it on your rear view mirror, because you're not supposed to dangle anything. It's illegal to dangle anything off of your rear view mirror. Yet people have these little, these scented trees. I have some around my room here and there for, just to give that extra little scent. I like the watermelon one. But yeah, you're not allowed to put any of these on your rearview mirror at all. Now I wrote these down. Now most of these I already knew. A couple of these I want to look up to make sure, to get some pointers on that. Of course, okay, the first one here, and it's pretty common sense, I would say, and especially in Canada, it's against the law to be drinking in public. Doesn't like in parks or sidewalks or wherever, if you're in public, there are like up in Vancouver, for example, there are certain very designated parks that you can drink in. There is, but you have to know where, and like maybe on a certain campground, but out in public, yeah, you're not supposed to be drinking in public at all. It is against the law here. Number two would be swearing while in a park. Yeah, in a park. Because swearing in public is not necessarily, illegal because, of course, we got for us here in Canada, we have a Section 2B, which is basically the freedom of speech, just like the First Amendment of the United States. So yeah, swearing while in a park though is pretty much a no-no. But I know in Montreal it is illegal. It is like no matter where you are in Montreal, it is illegal to swear in French in Montreal. Yeah. Um, Three, you cannot use a painted wooden ladder. Now, the reason should be obvious because with a wooden ladder, if you paint over it, it hides all the imperfections and the cracks in that. So using a like if you like using a wooden ladder and you can't see if is getting cracked in that. So yeah, you got to use clear varnishes and that you cannot be obstructing the features of the wood because you need to know if it's safe to climb in that. So yeah, actually, yeah, using a painted wooden ladder is illegal in Canada. Um, this one again, some common sense. Alcohol in a moving vehicle or in a vehicle, period. If you're going to have alcohol in your vehicle, it must be locked in a way where none of the passengers have access to it, even if it's unopened in the back seat. And you're alone in the car. You have it. It's still within reach. It doesn't even have to be opened. You can, it has to be in a trunk stored where people cannot, easily get to it. That should be common sense. This number six here is pretty interesting. It's You're not allowed to carry too many coins. Like if you go to the store and you bring too many coins, because we have quite a bit of coins here. There is a limit to how many that a store is allowed to take. And that's what it is. 100 nickels, 100 dimes, 40 quarters, 25 loonies, and 20 toonies. Maximum. If you bring more than any of that, they have the right to refuse it. They don't have to take it. So that's something you should be aware of. And but why would you want to carry that much change on you in anyway? It'd be I couldn't do it. I'm always getting rid of my change in my piggy bank. All right, number 7. Again, you wouldn't think not it is illegal for even for self-defense to carry pepper spray of any kind. Like you're like unless you're like in a specific profession that allows it, like a game warden or some some people that work with animals or whatever. But using any type of spray or pepper spray for yeah, it's not. So you think, well, how am I going to defend myself, right? Well, you can't have a knife because even the knife is illegal, right? Take martial arts if you want to. If you really feel that you need to learn how to defend yourself, take martial arts. You can either get yourself a whistle like this, and this one's pretty cool. It's a survival whistle, you know. I have a few tricks on my sleeve, I can always pop out my flashlight and kind of blind them like that, that always works, and so that you're momentarily disoriented. But there's ways, take a self defense course. Yeah, that's it. Take a self defense course if you really feel you need to defend yourself. If you live in, avoid bad areas if you can. But yeah, you're not allowed to have pepper spray, and you're not allowed to carry a knife for self defense. It is illegal in Canada. Number 8. This is more for the landlords. They don't like to be called landlords. They want to be called property owners or property management. But they must provide at least a very specific, minimal amount of temperature, for heating in an apartment. It's like here in our apartment, it's central heating and it's included in the rent, so we don't have to worry about it. But yeah, landlords can't let their tenants freeze. They have to provide at least a minimal, and not for air conditioning unless it's part of the building itself already. They don't. Yeah, air conditioning is not. But heating, you need to be a certain temperature at least. Okay, the last two here are a little bit interesting tidbits. Okay, number 9 here, which again is not necessarily legal, but you should know about it, is that royal land, like parks in that is owned by the queen, that's considered a royal park, is free. It's free to stay on. You can camp there. Okay, you can camp on royal land in Canada for free. You not charged a cent for it, but you can only stay in a spot for 21 days per year. If you After the 21 days, you must move at least 100 meters from that spot to put another camp. It's not that bad, You just got to move 100 meters every 21 days, and then you could live out in the woods if you wanted to. But you're just not allowed to camp in the same spot for more than 21 days because they need that area to replenish itself, because being in that area would disturb it just a little bit too much and would start wrecking the ecosystem there a little bit. So that's why that's enforced. And last but not least, if you are a witness in Canada, you have witness fees. You get paid for that. In Canada, and a non-expert witness typically receives a daily fee of $75. You know, including in not including, like, on top of that, they have to provide you you get the $75 fee no matter what, but they also have to provide you travel expense and living expense. So if you have to stay in a hotel, they have to pay for that hotel. If you if you travel, they have to pay you per so much per kilometer to get to the courtroom and that. So remember that they have to pay you if you are a witness, and if you're an expert witness, they you might get more because they have you have to set up testimonies and all that legal stuff. There's much more for you to do, but just for a basic witness, yeah, it's not bad. So just remember that. So these are 10 legal things in Canada that you should be aware of. If you're not aware of, I just like to just show that to you guys. And see, I wrote them all down here and everything. So, all right. So that is it for today. Yeah, like I said, it was just going to be a little bit of a different video because I wanted to share something like that. I want to try to mix things up a little bit. My channel is mostly music based. At least 80% of it is going to be music based, and all through the starting Monday. Tomorrow I'll be going live. So join me then. I'll be going at 4 p.m. East Atlantic Daylight Time. So join me there. Talk about music. We're going to probably even talk about movies or TV shows and stuff, like just entertainment in general, but mostly about music because that's my favorite subject. If you haven't seen my other video earlier, I ended up. Oh, it's over. Actually, I put that away with the other Sparks albums. I got the new Sparks albums today. And that's great. Got some new ones. Just watch my previous episode I just posted, and you'll see all that anyway. But that's it for me. I want to let you go before I start babbling. And everybody, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, because I will love you forever and greatly appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up. I don't know why more people don't. Also, comment because I love comments. I try to get to everybody's comments as best I can. I like to hear what you guys think and say about stuff. So yeah, do that for sure. And everybody, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, or afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace.